What a roller coaster of events with Wall Street bets and all those stocks like AMC, BlackBerry, as well as GameStop going wild. But we're not here to talk about these stocks here today. We're going to be shifting our focus over to the Very Good Food Company. And for those of you guys who have been investors in the Very Good Food Company, you'll notice there's a bit of a pattern that's been forming here in the stock chart, which I'll go over later on in this video and talk about what I'm doing with this company right now. For everyone who's new, my name is Daniel and welcome to my channel. Here we talk about Canadian growth stocks, so if that's your jam, then subscribe to this channel right now. But let's jump into my computer and go over this news release, and afterwards, I'll be talking a bit more about the charts and what I'm doing in my position. So we're here at the news release, and we can see the Very Good Food Company announces a new flagship butcher shop. And this butcher shop is located in downtown Victoria, Canada. It will feature a quick service restaurant and retail outlet. A flagship restaurant will have an outdoor patio and larger footprint than the current butcher shop that's located in the Victoria Public Market. And one nugget of information here that they tell us is that this flagship butcher shop will be a template for the opening of additional flagship butcher shops and restaurants across the strategic cities in North America. So there's two things that I want to point out here. First off, this is a template for opening up more butcher shops, which this is only going to help the brand presence of the Very Good Butchers all over Canada, as well as in the United States. And that's, I guess, essentially the second point is the fact that they're going over all North America. Not just Canada, not just British Columbia. They're going to probably come here in Ontario. They're also going to be in the States everywhere, probably in California. That's, if I were to bet my money, I think that's where they're going to be first in the United States, just because the whole vegan trend is strong over there. I think the announcement of this new facility has already been anticipated by all the investors based on all the other news that they've released in the past about this new flagship shop. But they've never really released news on the fact that they're opening up more of these flagship locations. At least this is the first time that I've heard about it. And the fact that they're trying to expand this all over North America, I think that they've done well in BC and it will do well everywhere else. The Very Good Food Company's brand really supports these flagship shops because they're not going after like the regular consumer who wants to buy the cheapest meals. They're going for people who want higher quality goods. So they're going to be positioned in higher quality places, which is only going to attract the people who have more wealth, who can actually afford the Very Good Food Company's products and continue to buy them month over month. People who are average like you and I, where we buy groceries and try to find everything on sale, we're not really the target customers at this moment. The second thing that they want to give an update on is the Rupert facility. And I don't think this is also huge news that really drove the stock up today because we already got some update on it on January 5th. But nonetheless, the Rupert facility commissioning is going according to schedule and will be up and running in March. They already have the warehouse that's adjacent to this Rupert facility, and right now they're looking for employees. So if you're in the BC area looking for a job, then check out the Very Good Food Company at their virtual job fair. The last thing that I want to mention here is investor relations, and if you looked at this article, you might not go over this. However, I think this is very important because this is actually them continuing to engage with their same investor relations contact, Edge Growth Holdings. And they're the guys essentially who probably sponsored the video that I did originally. And the purpose for them to be in the investor relations is really to engage millennial and Gen Z investor demographics. The reason why the Very Good Food Company is going after millennials and Gen Z, in my opinion, is the fact that these are the customers that they want to attract as well. They want them to be customers as well as investors in the company. If they're investors in the company right now, they're also very active on social media and also will help promote the Very Good Food Company, meaning that they can attract more customers without having to even spend dollars on marketing. As investors, we are essentially part business owners in the Very Good Food Company if we hold shares. And why wouldn't we want to promote a company that we own and promote their products to our friends and family? Especially if these products are actually good for us and extremely healthy. If they're like things like cigarettes and stuff, then, there's a bit of conflict of interest. But the fact that they're a plant-based company, they're saving animals' lives, this is a good thing that people feel happy promoting and being a part of. You'll see more advertising from the Very Good Food Company for investment material on platforms such as Instagram, TikTok, Discord, and WhatsApp. Oddly enough, YouTube is not mentioned there. Maybe they've decided to go off YouTube and pursue other platforms. I personally don't have any problem with sponsored content as long as it's done right. And sponsored content is not pump and dump, as most of you guys think. The thing with pump and dump is that it's always based on false promises or lies. And when I do my research, I always try to give you the most realistic scenarios. I run back the napkin sort of calculations to give you an idea what revenue they could produce. But it's always backed by some sort of fact. Like for the Very Good Food Company, it's backed by their facility, their square footage, and the average amount of meat that they can produce per square foot. And that's how I get my calculations, and that's honestly how analysts do it as well. I also take from SEC filings and their official investor presentation, so these ultimately are not lies as far as I know because they're official company documents. And the purpose for sponsor content for a company like the Very Good Food Company is the fact that right now they're not very big and not many people know about them. So the mainstream media won't want to actually talk about them because they won't get eyeballs, which means they don't get dollars from that. So they have to actually go out there and pay people like myself to actually go out and tell the story of the Very Good Food Company. It's not to solicit people to go buy the stock, but it's really just to engage the community and say, hey, we're here, check us out. If you're interested and want to partner alongside of us as an investor, then feel free to do so. Enough about sponsor content. The company will pay Edge a monthly fee of $6,000, as well as they will be paid $100,000 in incentive stock options. Currently, Edge does have around $25,000 in previous issued options, 1,150 warrants, as well as close to 2,000 shares. They've also engaged another company over in Germany called Appetin Finance GmbH, and they're paying them around 4,167 euros. And Appetin doesn't hold any shares of the Very Good Food Company. And what I find very interesting about these news releases is they always come when the Very Good Food Company stock is downtrending. And we can see here yesterday the stock hit lows around $6.56, and maybe the Very Good Food Company felt like they needed to release some news to be able to regain faith with their investors. So today they released some news. And if we look at the previous drop that they had on January 4th, on January 5th in the morning, they released another news article, which I did cover, and you can see here they released this news article, and the stock shot up quite a bit. So this is what happens with stocks that have a lot of retail presence in there. But I think the Very Good Food Company wants their customers/investors to get alongside with them, partner with them, become investors before the big boys come in. And when the big boys come in, like hedge funds and financial institutions, this is when the stock price could drive up even higher. I think this practice of giving their customers and believers in their company who are part of the retail public first dibs at their shares is kind of ingrained in the company. The fact that they had one of their first raises on Front Founder shows that they really want to give retail investors like you and I chances to get into a great company and ride along on this business. There's another thing on this chart here that I want to show you is this wedge pattern that I see forming. So we have 4 points that make up this wedge so far, which is a strong indication that this could be a pattern forming and we could see more upside to the stock. We also see that there's a declining volume, which is also another sign that this is a wedge pattern. So definitely look out for when the stock breaks above this pattern, and if it does, then we'll probably see another move upwards if the wedge pattern plays out. So with the release of this news, honestly, it doesn't really change my outlook on the Very Good Food Company. I still think it's a great stock to hold, especially when it drops to like the $6.50 level. To be honest, I put an order this morning in for about 100 shares at $6.40, and unfortunately it didn't fill. But I'm not too mad about it because my position in the Very Good Food Company is fairly sizable. And if you want to follow me in what I'm doing with this company and when I'm buying more shares, then be sure to check out that Patreon link down below. But as of right now, with the shares at $7 again, I think I'll probably wait till next time when a lot of retail investors decide to sell out of the stock. I wouldn't be surprised with the amount of retail investors that are in this company, which makes the stock price fairly volatile over time. But I think eventually, when the company actually grows to a larger market cap, attracts more institutional investors, this is where we're going to see the stock price stabilize a bit more and you can sleep easier at night. As always, if you're new here, leave a like down below, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and there's 2 videos on the screen here. If you're there, I'll see you there. If you're not, keep up the grind and have a great day.